Starting to heat up, ladies and gentlemen, and one of the most creative scores in the W. Starting to go on a rampage here. They've cut it to 5.
And with the first overall selection in the 2023 NHL Draft, the Chicago Blackhawks are very proud to select from the Regina Pats, the Western Hockey League, Connor Bedard.
Everybody, what is going on, everybody? This is Mike Hughes, and you're listening to Mike on the Mic, and everything Chicago sports-related podcast. Today is October 5th, 2023, and we have some breaking news going all throughout the NFL today. Obviously, we got some Thursday night football. Obviously, we got Bears versus Commanders. We got Fire Flues Friday in effect, but all of that kind of just feels meaningless now. We got news broken today by the Chicago Bears and the Butkus family that the late, great legend, the greatest linebacker in not just Chicago Bears history, but NFL history, the late, great Dick Butkus, a Chicago native, a Chicago Bears legend, an Illinois University legend. You love to see it. I mean, a guy who embodied what it means to play football, embodied what it means to be a Chicagoan, has passed away. And it's devastating. It's devastating. It's one of those conversations where, you know, I can't speak on what it was like seeing him play. I wasn't a part of that era, you know, and that's just what it is. You know, I'm not going to sit up here and say I was. But when you grow up in this city and you're as invested in the Chicago Bears as many of us are, he's one of the first guys you learn about. You know, the monsters of the Midway. When you define what the monsters of the Midway are and who they are to this city, it's Walter Payton. You get Sweetness. You know, you get Dick Butkus, the grind, the blue collar mentality, the type of guy that'll rip your face off, you know what I mean? And then shake your hand at the end of the game. You know, you get guys like Gale Sears, you get guys like Mike Ditka that come in these rooms and come into this organization and completely change it on its head. So tonight's a lot bigger game than a lot of people anticipated. You know, this game was kind of just forget about it. You know what I mean? Like we didn't care. We didn't care about this game. No one cared about this game. I think a lot of Bears fans were actually hoping we lost this game. It'll be our 15th loss in a row, making it 0-5 on the season. Fire Flues Friday. That's what we've been talking about all week long. But right now, that kind of changed. The whole narrative changed. I mean, today's game means so much more because of the passing of Dick Butkus today. They need to win it for him. They need to win this game for Butkus. They need to honor him the right way. I'd imagine the rest of the year they wear the Butkus patches and, you know, they honor him in some way. But it's definitely a conversation right now where, you know, we can deal with Chase Claypool's stuff. We can deal with Justin Fields, Matt Eberflus, Luke Getsy, and the rest of this franchise another week. But this week specifically, you just got to win this game. You just got to win this game. I mean, this guy, you know, 9 siblings growing up on the south side of Chicago. 9 siblings. You know, and back then, you know, growing up in the 40s, I mean, that's a totally different mentality. That's a grind. Even my dad, I talk about my dad all the time. You know, he had more siblings than I can count. I have more uncles and aunts than I can count. And growing up with that mentality, you're growing up, you know, your Irish, Italian household, you know, it's like your back's against the wall all the time. And for him to become what he became is absolutely incredible. It's inspiring. It literally embodies who we are as a people in this city. And it's gonna be a lot different without him. But with that being said, we're gonna get into this game. We're gonna talk about it. We got our guy here. He's gonna be our good luck charm for the rest of the week, and the rest of the season. But getting into it, man, we got Tevin Jenkins coming off the IR today. Braxton Jones still isn't here. He's still remaining on the IR. Nate Davis is back. He returned last week. Tevin Jenkins will I mean, from what I'm hearing right now from Schefter and everybody else and Ian Rappaport, we will have Tevin Jenkins in the lineup tonight. Obviously, you got Nate Davis back. So you got Cody Whitehair, Nate Davis, Darnell Wright, obviously Tevin Jenkins, Larry Borum. You got a nice little squad right now. Right now, you look at the Commanders, they're top 10 getting against the quarterback, getting after it, doing their thing. So you really look at that and you say, okay, look, we have been bottom feeders as an offensive line this year, but if we could protect Justin Fields in some capacity, which I think with Tevin Jenkins, assuming he's fully healthy, we could potentially do. I think we're in a really good position today, especially with what we saw from last week. Obviously, on the other side of things, we wished that Mitchell Trubisky would have been the first UNC Tar Heel quarterback to ever have success in the NFL. Unfortunately, he really wasn't. But Sam Howell looks like he's embodying just that. And with former 85 Bears Super Bowl champion Ron Rivera coaching that, with obviously Scary Terry and Terry McLaurin. Obviously, you have Logan Thomas and a bunch of other guys over there that can really get after it. Brian Robinson Jr., they do amazing things. And obviously, Chase Young on the other end. We really do have to get after the quarterback today. We really do have to put up points early. And it's going to come down to that. I appreciate the follow. If you're new here, smack that follow button. We're going to be covering Bears all season long. Appreciate everybody who's tuned in today. Appreciate everybody who's been here. Appreciate everybody who just joined the community. But breaking that down and understanding that, again, we're going to be without Chase Claypool today, which is perfectly fine with me. You know what I mean? We didn't miss a beat. We actually played our best football in the last 365 days without Chase Claypool in the building. So that's definitely a positive. But, when you understand that and you look at what this secondary is able to do, Kyle Fuller's brother, I believe, what is his name? Kendall Fuller. He's a lockdown corner. He's a solid corner in this organization. And I think you need to look at that. You need to take that seriously, especially with the pass rush that they have, especially with Payne, especially with, Chase Young and everybody else. It's going to be very difficult today to get after it. It's going to be difficult to get something going. This is a team that almost beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Pardon me. I'm in my baseball mode. But they almost beat the Eagles last week. And, that's definitely a conversation that we need to have right now. This isn't a walk in the park. This isn't the Commanders of old. Like, this Commanders team is a solid team. So if we're going to sit up here and act like this is just an easy win, we're going to roll over. It's not going to go down like that. I talked about it earlier when this show started. We got to have that mentality. We got to go in there and we got to hit them in the face like we're the monsters of the Midway. Sweetness, Butkus, Sears. We got to knock these guys on their ass. I mean, let's be real. This is something that I think when you look back on it, this is the defining part of the season. This right here is a defining part of the season because there's two ways this can go. We can win and build on this, or it can just fall right apart. There's one of two ways. I mean, we can have Flus fired tomorrow, Getsy fired tomorrow. If you win this game after what happened today, it's a momentum booster. It's something to play for. We're not just playing as the Chicago Bears right now. Like I said earlier before the episode, and you guys could say what you want. You could say, oh, you're milking it. It's truly how I feel about it. You are playing this game for the legacy of Dick Butkus. That's just what it is. You need to win this game. If you lose this game, I mean, honestly, dude, the whole coaching staff was probably fired tomorrow anyway. Hightower will probably be the head coach tomorrow anyways. But if you lose this game, bro, we will never forgive you. And that doesn't just go for the coaching staff. If Justin Fields plays like shit, if Tremaine Edmonds, Jack Sanborn, TJ Edwards, Yannick Ngakoue, if they all play like shit, nobody's safe. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? Like you gotta keep it competitive. You gotta keep it close. You gotta put your best foot forward. You gotta put the pedal to the metal, bro. Like, that's what it is. I need your foot on the gas now, and I need you going 100. Because this is a game you got to win. This is a game you got to win. But, we got our Dogs of the Week prediction. If you guys are new here, every single week we do our best offensive player, our best defensive player of the game. I was a little indifferent going into today. I had a different mentality. I was going to say I was going to pick differently. But tonight I think we're going to see a very different version of the Chicago Bears. I'm going to say my dog of the week offensively is going to be Cole Kmet. I got to give it to Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet last week with 2 touchdowns, but at the end of the game, didn't play big enough, didn't stay on his man. Obviously, Justin Fields and him had a miscommunication that led to the interception, but that interception was against Kareem Jackson, 5'10", 35-year-old safety. Cole Kmet is 6'6". We talk about the monsters of the midway. We talk about embodying what it means to be a Chicagoan. I need you to play big. I need you to be the best version of yourself. I need you to go out there and lay it all on the line. And he didn't do that towards the end of the game last week. That's just what it is. I'm not asking you to make that catch. I'm asking you when he's on your hip, I'm asking you to fucking bat that ball down and make sure he doesn't get that interception. That's what I'm asking. When you're 6'6", going against someone that's 5'10", that's who I'm going for. So give me Cole Kmet. I think he's going to have himself a day. Has to. I was thinking Herbert, but Payne is just an absolute monster. That defensive line in the trenches is absolute crazy. Defensively, I was going to give it to Yannick. I like the comments right here. I was going to give it to Yannick, but after what happened today, there's somebody who I believe has the character and has the embodiment of what it means to be a Chicago Bear on this team, and I'm going to give it to Tremaine Edmunds. I think Cole Kmet and Tremaine Edmunds are our dogs of the week. That's who I'm giving it to. I think they are going to be the ones that show out the most today. You guys let me know. Who do you think your dogs of the week are going to be? Who do you guys got? I just think for Tremaine Edmunds, understanding the history of this organization, him being so high on it, having those conversations about what guys like Urlacher, Briggs, obviously guys like Butkus meant to him. You got to show out tonight. So I'm looking at him like that. Cole Kmet, kind of just going out there. I'm looking at it. I like the matchups for the wide receivers. I don't like the matchups for Khalil Herbert, but I think right now somewhere we can expose is their linebacker core, and that's where Cole Kmet comes into play. Honorable mention to me is Robert Tonyan. I think Robert Tonyan has himself a day. I think we're waiting on that day for Robert Tonyan to have a day. I've been very patient waiting for it, but I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. But with that being said, man, score tonight. What do you guys got? What are you guys thinking? I'm sitting here right now. I'm thinking the Bears pull this one off 24-21. Cairo Santos wins the game. I think that's really where I'm at right now. It's going to be an interesting game for sure. But that's what we got right now. We're going to remain live on TikTok Live, so make sure you're following if you haven't hit that follow button already. We're going to remain going. We're going to be doing a post-game show after the game. I got to interview a couple minor league baseball players right before that, but it's going to be an amazing day all in all. I appreciate you guys for listening. Definitely stay tuned throughout the entire game because we'll be covering it. We're going to stay live on TikTok right now, but I'll check you guys out after the game.